Hi everyone. I hope everybody is doing well, and I was playing here with gel paints and some chrome powders, and I thought that I might actually share it with you. So I have here some free decorations that I would like to do with you guys. So what I will use is chrome powders, white gel paint from Charisma, and oval brush that I use for most of my brushes. Sorry, for my decorations. Sorry, I don't go normally live, so I'm a little bit stressed. Forgive me. So here I have one tip already prepared. I'm using here the black base, and we can use normally either black tips if you have already. I have my black tips here, or if you don't have, you just can apply a gel polish, and then you can use your chromes unless you want to use some other base. So of course, to prepare a base for chrome, we need a top coat. I'm using here the top coat from my line Blue Amber. It's very flexible. It's a little bit more dense. So it's different consistency than traditional, and I like it for different kind of decorations, and also as a base and top coat for pigments, because it's very flexible when it cures. So I'm gonna just apply a thin coat of this product on entire nail, and I will cure it 30 seconds in the LED lamp. Also because it's a little bit thicker, so it gives this really very nice glossy surface. Surface. And after I cured 30 seconds, immediately I will go ahead and apply pigments, and those are traditional chrome pigments, and I will use the sponge. You could also use silicone tool if you prefer. So I depends from time to time. I just say I use either sponges or silicone tools. Okay, so my nail is ready, and now I don't want to use just one color. I like to play with different colors in one nail, so I get this nice multicolor effects. And one of my favorite mixes is blue, pink, and bronze. So I would start with bronze. I have normally one side of sponge for each color, so I don't have to change them very often. And now I take a little amount of bronze, and I'm just gonna apply it without any precision, just here and there, without any pressure, and I didn't massage it yet. Then I will switch to pink. And again, depends how much you want to put. I apply a little bit here and there. And then if I would like to maybe some blue. Also very, very little. This chrome powder is very pigmented, and we need very small amount. Now after I have finished our colors, I will just massage them all and make sure that it gets nice and shiny. And after that, we still might have like little micro residue, so then we're gonna use the soft brush. I never advise to use the soft brush like this for generally for working on the client, because I don't find it's hygienic and removes very well dust. But for removing the very small little residues of chrome powders, I think this is really good, because it's so gentle and it doesn't risk to ruin the surface of the chrome powder. So we can move this back, and now we can go ahead and start painting. So I will do two flowers, two very easy, very fast flowers. That's why I have the other base already ready. And I know that many of you very often have problems with flower that seems like a very easy decoration, but sometimes gives us some trouble. So first of all, I'm going to use my glass palette here, and I always use a top coat to prepare my brush before I work. The brush is never ready to work just as it is, especially if it's new or if you have not used it for many days. It just becomes very strange consistence, gummy, and a little bit too much connected hair. So what I do, I dip my brush into the top coat, and this will prepare the brush, make it more flexible, but also clean the brush. You can notice how the color is coming out from my brush. So I never use acetone or alcohol, because then this will damage slowly my brush. Okay, and now all the hair is nice and flexible, and this will paint very well. I do the same with thin brushes, so any gel brush is the same thing. Then I use lint-free wipe. I like to use soft landing wipes. They have a really very good quality. And then I'm using white gel paint. So the quantity we're going to use is very small. We don't need a lot of it. This is gel paint from Charisma, and I will use a very small quantity. I clean my brush. I don't want to have too much. Okay, and now, sorry, I'm gonna put my glasses. Okay, and now I will do this one first. This is a very simple, easy flower, and I would like to show you how we can do it quickly. I'm just gonna try to zoom in if I can. Oh, it doesn't allow me to zoom. Oh, that's strange. Sorry, I'm gonna just lower the camera then. Okay, so this will be the flower I want to do, and first of all I will decide where will be the center of my flower. So maybe I can use my liner brush and we'll quickly make a little tiny dot to the side. Okay, this is where all my petals will be meeting, and after that I will pick up a very small quantity of gel with my brush, just one side of the brush, and I will take it in this very gentle way, 1, 2, 3. So we don't want to have too much, like a big drop of gel, but smooth it out. Okay, and now I would advise to avoid to make straight movements. It's very nice if we give a little arch to a petal, and also you can decide how wide you want your petal. If you want your petal very slim, you can just make single movement. If you want to make it wider, you can make a double movement. Also, you can decide to make a visible division between those two, or you can make it connected. We have a lot of options. So the size and shape of the brush gives us it makes the work very, very easy. Okay, I'll make sure that everything is ready, and now I will start from outside and bring the petal towards inside. And it's very important that we go slowly and carefully. So now we can start here, we can press the brush, it opens gently, and we go towards the center and we pull up the brush so it becomes thinner and thinner. Okay, so you can see it's very, very easy. We just have to be very calm. And of course I'm doing it a little bit slower right now so you can see it better. And now you can decide, do you want all flower to be made of those small little petals or single slim petals, or would you like to make them wider? Would you like to make then the second part of this petal of this side or this side? However you want. Maybe I'm seeing that this is a nice curve here and I'm going to add a second portion here. So I'm going to touch, press, and where I'm going towards the center, I'm releasing the pressure, and this makes the petal more thinner. And in this way we can go ahead with other petals, and you can go in this direction, or maybe you decide, oh no, I want to start from the right side again. So I'm going to start here, and again I'm going with this delicate curve towards the center, and I start with delicate pressure and then I release. This petal I will decide to make from 3 parts. So now I'm going to do the second, press, pull towards the center, release, and maybe a third part attached to this petal. And we just have to make sure that it's not a visible line that divides those petals. I just want to make sure that it looks like one petal. And now after we have this very easy base, now we just go ahead and make other few petals. And if you have any problem to position your petals, you can even make yourself like a little guide line, making a few more lines that will tell you, okay, in which direction all those petals will be going. And when we are painting with gel paint, of course there is zero stress. We have all the time that it's necessary to paint all our petals. We have all the time for corrections. It's not like with acrylic paint or something that is, I don't know, like maybe gel polish, that it's more liquid. But of course it's all preference. Press, pull, and release. And what I want here, it's also the transparency of the petal, that it's going more towards the center of the flower. And the next one, press, release. You can decide, do you want a single or you want to double. Maybe I'm gonna make it single here. And recharge the brush. I'm gonna go back here, so then I will see how much space it remains for the last petal. Okay, and another one. And what I notice very often in the beginning when we are learning petals or flowers, it gives a little bit problem to make this curve to the petal that gives better look. But I find that it's just a matter of practice and calm. We don't have to rush. Okay, and then you can decide, okay, is it fine? I have too much space here, so I'm just going to complete it with one more little. Okay, and now if you, for any reason, would you like to put more white, would you like to make it more covering, that's totally fine. You can either do it directly now, or sometimes it's better just to cure it. This gel that I'm using right now from Charisma cures 30 seconds in the LED lamp, but very often I flash cure it like 10 seconds, 5 seconds, and then I add more. Now I'm going to use now my thin brush, and also thin brush has to be prepared in the clear top coat before we use it. And when you're preparing the thin brush, you want to make sure that if you have not used it for a few days, that you dip it in your top coat and you gently massage it into top coat till you see that each hair starts to separate. Okay, you could see how connected it was in the beginning, and now it starts separating. We have to do it, of course, very gently. We don't want to damage the brush, but this will help us to get a very nice flexible and well painting brush. So I'm gonna get a very small quantity of white right now and just add simply this line here that will go in oblique up. Okay, if it's possible with one movement, that's why we're using longer brushes. Shorter brushes are for details, longer brush it is, more it is for longer lines. Okay, so then we just cure it, and in the center you can put either some rhinestone or crystal, some little dots, however you would like to. Of course, I will put the top coat first so we can seal the pigment and the flower. So I'm going to put this one on the side for now. And now I'm going to take care of the second flower. And here we're going to do something a little bit slightly more advanced if you're a beginner, that it's 2 layers of petals. Okay, so again, just like for every other flower, I would decide where will be the center of the decoration of the flower, somewhere here. And again, the same brush and the same gel paint, but if you would like to use any other color, of course, it's totally your choice. Also some pastel pink, pastel blue would look very pretty here. Okay, and now again, I'm going to make sure that I have small quantity of gel, so I'm just removing a little bit right now because it was too much. Why is that? Because if I want to work on layers on my flower, the first layer of petals I would like to make a little bit more transparent. Why? So then they are a little bit darker and they look like they are more behind, while those petals that are on the top are more white, so it gives more dimension and we can see what's going on. If they are all the same intensity, it will just look totally the same. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit more of white. Okay, now make sure that I remove excessive amount of white, and now take very small quantity. Now the movement will be again the same. I will I will keep my brush this 45 degrees position towards the surface of the nail, and the length of petals, of course, is totally your choice. You can start again with pressure, and then more you go towards the center, you're releasing the pressure. And if you want to make it a little bit wider, you can add the left side to your petal. And now it depends from your preference. I like to see those strokes of the brush. I sometimes do it on purpose. I sometimes press brush a little bit more, so it gives me more of those very thin lines on the surface of the petal. I find that it looks interesting, but whenever you would like to make it more covering, more perfect, of course, then you're just gonna take a little bit more gel and maybe press less. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit wider here. And you're gonna notice that I'm not placing those petals very close to each other. If I would do, if I paint petals very near one to another, this might give me a trouble later when I will be painting the second layer. So as you can notice, I'm applying very thin coats. Okay, and again they can have a little bit more curve, and don't worry about sizes and perfection. It's a flower, and it will be actually more interesting if every petal has a little bit different look. And as you can see, you can always come back here and correct. Now you have a possibility if you would like to cure it, or you can directly paint the second layer. Now I think I need a little bit more. The second layer will be different from the first one, and what I mean by that, you want to have more pigment on your brush. So as the first layer I did very thin, and I wanted to have this transparency of color under. The second one I don't want that to happen, so I'm gonna take a little bit more of gel on my brush. And now in between those I'm gonna make other petal that will be shorter from the previous one, so we can see the difference. And again I will play with the pressure. And if you want to make it wider, you can pick up more gel and make it wider. Maybe a little more gel here. Okay, and we go ahead with other petals. And again, soft strokes. I'll make it wider again. And another one. So this is like a very simple basic flower, but I thought I would share it with you guys since we are all at homes and probably you searching for ideas what to practice. I thought this could be easy for everyone. Okay. And as I said, if you would like to correct anywhere, you can either do it right now when it's all wet, or you can do it on the second layer. I think I will leave it like this. Sometimes we exaggerate and get into the trap of correction over correction. So I'm going to cure it right now, and together with the first one, and add a shadow inside of the petal, sorry, of the flower. So 30 seconds curing. In the meantime, I will get it can be either dark green or dark black, whatever you would like to add into your flower center for depth, unless you want to apply simply a rhinestone like I did here. Then you can just top coat it, put some small pearls, and that's it. So here I think it should be ready. And again, with the same round brush, I will pick up a very small quantity of the dark color, very small, and just in the middle here apply like a half circle, clean the brush, and then just very gently tap it so it blends a little bit. If you put too much, then we might have more trouble to blend it. And I would like to have the blending just towards the lower part of the petal, so it will be looking like the petal is looking down, and then I can cure and increase the depth with a little bit more of black. Oops. Just a little bit. Okay. Only in that line, exactly in the center, and then again with the clean brush, very delicately tap it. So on the bottom I had some dark green, and then on the top I applied black. Okay, if you see that you have a mistake here, that you put it too much up, no problem, clean your brush, and with your clean brush you can push back the gel. And if you see that your brush is dirty, so instead of cleaning it actually makes more problems, okay, then you have your top coat ready to clean your brush and correct the mistake. So in this way we have depth here. If you want that flower is visible from the top, you would blend it in all directions, not only towards the bottom. Now I'm going to cure it. I will put top coat on both nails, and then I will finish with those small few drops coming from the center of the flower. So here I'm going to use So Shiny, that it's very flexible, as we said. Okay, and when we use pigment, we want to seal free edge very well as well. Of course, here it's a tip, so I don't have to do it with a lot of attention. And then real quickly the second one. Also, if you would like to, you can do outlines. You can create thin outlines on your flower, but of course more details we add more time it will take to work on the client. This was more like a proposition for a really quick salon decoration. Now of course I'm talking and explaining, so it takes a few seconds more, but generally more you do it, more it becomes very quick decoration to do. And we have to remember, if you clean your brush with top coat and you decide not to remove that top coat, make sure that you cover your brush so it doesn't get exposed to any light. Otherwise you might get a bad surprise tomorrow or after a few hours if it got exposed to UV. Okay, so this is cured, and now I will use my thin brush and sunflower yellow. It's like a very delicate pastel yellow. Of course you could use other colors as well. Okay, and when I do this kind of center, it's actually very easy and very simple, but we have to follow one rule. Always start from outside and bring it towards the center. So I take a very small drop of gel on tip of my brush, and then again no straight lines but delicately arched, and put this little dot, okay, and then with delicate movement, gently arched, pull it towards the center till it starts disappearing. So we slowly pull up the pressure. We never want a thick line here in the middle. Every line has to be thin and delicate. Now a second one, again I put a little dot, and then from the dot with zero pressure, barely touching the surface, almost flying in the air. Oh, this was a little bit too thick now, but okay. We bring the line towards the center. Now you could also do this of course on the surface of the flower directly. You don't have to do it on the surface of the top coat, it's up to you. But I like to work with thin lines or those final elements on the surface of the top coat. Why? First of all, it's easier. The surface is perfectly smooth. We don't have any uneven surface of petals under. Also, it gives more visibility because it's on the surface of the top coat. It gives more dimension. The top coat divides the flower from those lines. And another thing, you can do, of course, if you're using a gel paint or gel that doesn't have inhibition layer and you know that it stays over the surface of your top coat. If your gel paint or gel that you're using for nail art has inhibition layer, well, then try. If you can remove it and it doesn't get damaged, then it's okay. Otherwise, you're gonna have to top coat it to protect it. So this is curing right now. Oh, I forgot to put here the stone. I was supposed to put it on my wet top coat, but okay, I'm gonna use here pen. This is actually a pen that has too much. It is it's a gel, but it's in this very easy applicator form. From one side it has needle, and then if you open it like this, it has brush. So if you have to seal your rhinestones on the top later, it's very, very easy. It cures 30 seconds, and we can of course apply all kinds of little decorations here. I'm gonna just apply this little gold half pearl. Okay, oops. Okay, and then I'm gonna cure it, and I will seal it very gently on the top again with clear again, with the same pen. Okay, this one is ready in the meantime. And as I told you, you could decide, of course, to put, to paint outlines. Outlines are great if you have a mistake, if something went wrong. With outlines that we paint on the surface, we can always correct it. But if it's not really necessary, you don't have to. You don't have to take your time. Okay, and this is ready. I'm just gonna add one more drop just to seal it. Just gonna make sure that I don't put too much. Okay. And this glue, it doesn't have inhibition layers. So once it's cured, it's shiny and no tacky. So it's ready. And I'm just gonna, okay, it should cure 30 seconds, but I don't want to take your time while waiting. So this was just an easy decoration with white gel paint that you can do with multiple colors. And let me know if you guys have any questions. This video will be available in case you didn't watch it from the beginning. I'm gonna try my best to do one video a day for you guys with different nail art decoration, but I see how it goes. So I hope that you're all guys safe and healthy, and I hope to see you soon. I'm gonna answer, because I couldn't see all the comments, so I'm gonna read them right now and answer if anyone has any questions. Okay, so have a great afternoon and see you next time.